This is the best of the week on Relevant Radio.
Joining me today is fashion designer, author, books on the fusion between Catholicism and our faith when it comes to clothing and how we view ourselves as women. Lillian Fallon's here with me today. I do want to throw a question in your direction because I got this. Nikki emailed, she's in Plymouth, Wisconsin, and she said, I lead a Bible study for teen girls, and this week our topic is modesty. I write the lessons myself, and of course, on such an important topic, I'm struggling with content. Do you have any tips about modesty? I'd love to hear your thoughts, Lillian, on what you would tell to teen girls today about modesty and how to navigate that.
Oh, yes. Well, first of all, I always tell them to be creative with their style, because usually when you're being creative with how you're dressing, you start paying attention less to what's trendy and also what is appealing to the boys or whatever. And you start dressing in a way that's just fun. And you end up wearing more things when you're being creative. I always tell them, hey, be as creative as possible. And when it comes to modesty, my big thing is asking a young girl, like, does anybody get to deserve to have access to your body like that? Does anybody get to be able to have that visual access to you? Because you are so precious and your body is something that nobody else should be able to just have access to. And so I try to put it in these terms of like, would you just hand somebody your cell phone to look through? No, of course you wouldn't. That's your private business. And similarly with our bodies, not anybody should be able just to have access to it and even to have access to use your body in their minds. And we have to protect ourselves from that because our bodies we have to pay reverence to our bodies because it's a gift and we have to protect that gift. So that's kind of when I'm like talking to a young girl, like, hey, you got to protect that gift, but also be creative with how you're dressing. Don't just settle for the trends. You have something important and unique to say in how you dress, and you can express the beauty of your soul. So why don't you find some garments that match the beauty of your soul?
I think those are great key thoughts. And it's so challenging because then you say that like, hey, you're precious, you're worth being protected, honoring your body. And I feel like it just falls on deaf ears so often today. It's hard to hear, I think, during that season of being a teenager. I remember being there and it might sound great and ideal, but in practice, you don't have a lot of examples around. And that's why I think this isn't, Lily, when I was really thinking about it, like, I think it's great that this is a lesson for teen girls. It's being discussed, but it's not a one and done conversation. That conversation, when it's addressed in a family setting, whether it's addressed at youth group, at school, wherever it is, that's just the exclamation mark in the middle of a paragraph on modesty, because I think it's really shown and not told. You have to see examples of clothing that you actually like in a modest way. And that might not be the current fashion trend. And so I think when you say be creative with your style, Lillian, and have fun, that means for me, I kind of have to see it and practice somewhat to figure out what that looks like and how it could be perhaps flattering and comfortable on my particular body as well.
Yeah. Well, what I love to do is search street style fashion on Pinterest. And it's funny because a lot of women will emerge, like different women who have been captured from street style photographers. And you'll see so many cool outfits. And it's really actually surprising how many are really modest. I give presentations all the time to young girls about modesty. And I have all these photos across the entire presentation of women who are so cool and so well dressed and so modest. But I'm pretty sure that these women are not necessarily Catholic or Christian, but they have this understanding of their worth and they're expressing that through their clothing and their creativity. And so there is, when you're searching for really authentic style, specifically on, say, like if you're going to look on Pinterest for street style, you might be surprised at how many modest women actually end up popping up on there.
Mm-hmm. And how often and easy it is for people. I mean, I think what people are comfortable in are what they wear out more commonly rather than maybe perhaps what they dress up in for an event. So I do think that's really interesting. So street style fashion on Pinterest, something to go through if you're a parent trying to navigate ideas. And again, find that style, be fun about it and start to engage it. But at the end of the day, I think beauty really is an outward expression of the state of the soul. And sometimes there are a lot of things we're attached to as women that we have to navigate when it comes to our clothing and discovering modesty. That's Lillian Fallon. Be sure to check her out online. You can find her website, lillianfallon.com, along with her book, Theology of Style. We'll link to it on social media and in the episode notes. Thanks for being with us, Lillian. You can join me and listen on the Relevant Radio app to Trending with Timmerie live each weekday at 6 p.m. Central. Thanks for listening.